This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome, everybody. As usual, for the first timers, sit as, don't do anything special. Close your eyes, of persons, and welcome the flow of perceptions. Without any anticipation of the future, without revisiting the past, just whatever shows up in the moment and from moment to moment. During this experiment you are conducting, you don't have really to do anything. You have the luxury to be completely passive, to let everything happen, both externally in the world, internally in your body and in your mind. So the three worlds, if you will, world, body, mind, are kind of released to their own movement, to their own unfolding. You don't participate in this unfolding, you are simply the witness of this unfolding. In fact, we have always been the witness of this unfolding, because we have been also the witness of our own decisions and of our own activities. But this experiment makes it much clearer. It is artificial because daily life doesn't usually allow for us to be 100% passive. But while conducting this experiment by being absolutely passive, it forces you to take your stand, if you will, simply and solely as a witness, not really as a participant. And see that as a witness, you are remote. In fact, you are unaffected by the things you behold. Because you are nowhere to be found in the picture. You contemplate, you are the beholder of it, never found in it. Things in the picture may seem to interact with one another. but they never interact with you, the beholder. They don't have access to you while you have access to them. It's not a two-way connection, it's one way. From you, awareness, the beholder, to them, the things that appear. They are dependent on you. You're not dependent on them. You're free from them. You are not affected by them. Never. Never have been either. So you can release everything you perceive. You can surrender it to the space in which you appear, the bodily sensations, the sense perceptions, and the thoughts. You allow for them to move on their own accord. To follow the universal symphony, to be part of it, to play their part in it. You release the control. This is an artificial experiment, yes. You have the luxury to do that. See what happens. See whether, when you don't have to do anything, and you don't have to control anything, whether you have the courage to release the control, to allow for everything to run by itself without your intervention, simply with your contemplation. It should be easy since no effort is required. It's absolute effortlessness, since there is nothing you have to do. So it should be easy. The earth rotates around the sun without your intervention. Your heart beats without your intervention. Your immune system defends you without your intervention. Your brain works, creates your thoughts without your intervention. Everything is happening by itself. And it has always been the case. Everything has always been happening by itself. So it turns any effort to make things happen superfluous. Of course, later on, life will require for us to act. But this action will take place in the absence of the belief of a local and limited decider and doer of the deed. And this action will be similar to the earth rotating around the sun, and to the heart pumping the blood into the system of your body. Effortless, natural, spontaneous. In the absence of a local controller, thinker, doer, perceiver, there is only this universal symphony. This constant creation from the invisible source that sees all. As you listen to this, as you hear it, and to the extent that it matches your experience, Notice how the content of your experience has evolved over the last 20 minutes or so. The new condition of the body and of the mind, they are just states. That they are different from what obtained in the beginning of this experiment is interesting, but not really important. But if we observe the current situation of the body and of the world that surrounds it, and to be more precise, if we solely based on our current direct experience in the now, try to see whether there is any experienced separation between them, the body and the world. See that experientially, without reference to the past, to the known, there is none, no separation. There is only one space in which everything happens. The experiential space is a space in which all things are being experienced. Without borders, and also always present, meaning without a beginning, without an end, that could be ascertained. No borders in space, no borders in time. That can be perceived. Although this presence is invisible to the eyes, is inconceivable to the mind, it nevertheless knows itself. We know our being. We know our awareness. We know our being awareness. Being awareness knows being awareness. The goal of meditation is not the seeking of a pleasurable state, but the seeking of the truth, established by the facts of our experience. It is only the truth which is arrived at through the facts, through experience, that can liberate us from the burden of being separate and limited, from the burden of being born and having to die. The truth of what we are is not hidden somewhere. It is in plain sight. Right now, as this presence, hearing these words. Invisible through the mind, known only to itself. More real than any object it perceives. Or that any event it witnesses.